welcome to this AE Basics tutorial in which we're going to carry on looking at paint in After Effects. Now I've got my usual solid selected, I've got my layer panel open, and I've got the right on selected. I've got no blend mode at the moment, just right on, and I've chosen a colour, and I'm just going to take my current time indicator to the beginning, and I'm just going to draw anything. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and now if I untwirl my layer, you'll see that there's my right on, so it's actually writing on, which is very good. Well, when I say very good, it's very amateurish. I want you to notice, by the way, that up here in the brushes panel, if you have a tablet and pen, you can actually change the brush dynamics with your pen pressure or with your pen tilt or stylus wheels or whatever you want. So you can change dynamics by playing around with these settings here. But guess what? I've just got a mouse. I don't have a pen and tablet, and I'm creating things and I want them to look a little bit better than they are. So let's start to look at some of the options in the timeline. I'm going to open up Paint, and you'll see that the first one is Paint on Transparent. So if you want to get rid of the layer colour, you can simply turn on the transparency, and all you're doing then is painting directly on transparency, which might be exactly what you want or not. I'm going to leave it on. I want it on transparency at the moment. And then I'm going to open up my brush, and we're going to have a little look at some of the options here before we do things a little bit more exciting. So I've got access to my path. If I click on that, I can actually change this path. I need my selection tool, select the path, and wait till I've got the arrows, and then you can see you can physically move it around. So if it's in the wrong place, you can physically move it. Alternatively, notice at the bottom you've got transforms for the brush. So I can open those up, and I can physically change it and move it around, even move the anchor point so that it scales from a different place if I wish, and we can rotate it. So you've actually got an awful lot that you can do with an existing path just with the standard transforms for the brush. And bear in mind, if I've got multiple brushes, I'll have transforms for each one of those brushes. So every single one of these paths can be changed and moved around as I like, which I think is pretty cool, to be honest. You can just get in there and change it. So you've drawn a line, it's not quite right. Well, you can change everything. What else can we change? We can actually go to the stroke options, and we can change the colour. So if we don't like that particular colour and we want to go for something more psychedelic or whatever we want to, I'm going to choose this blue, click OK, and we can animate that change. So it doesn't have to be that colour all the way through. If we wanted to, we can click the stopwatch, start at one colour and go to another colour. At the moment we've got end animated, but we could, if we want to, play with start as well, how much we want to see of the whole path. But for what we're doing a bit later on, I want to leave that as is. We can change the diameter. Is it too thick or is it not thick enough? That can be changed here. The angle can be changed, but you won't see that simply because it's a round brush. But if I change the brush to a very angular brush, we can actually change the angle of that and get some pretty cool, almost 3D type looks by playing with that. I'm actually going to take my roundness back up again for now. And we can play with the hardness. At the moment it's a soft brush, but we can make it completely hard. It's totally up to you to play with these. Spacing, as we've shown before, can make it very dotty or very full. It's up to you. Again, the default is 25, and we can even turn around and say, you know, I should have made it an RGB and not RGBA. You can change all of those, and of course we can get in and change the opacity and the flow, which is the amount of ink coming out the brush. So you can do all of those here, but notice that I've got access to the path, and it's what we can do with the path that makes Right On quite powerful, bearing in mind that this is a layer that can be changed into 3D. You won't see 3D, by the way, when you're in the layer menu, but when you're in the composition menu you will see 3D. So in the next tutorial, having shown you that you can change everything and adjust it here, in the next tutorial I'm going to show you how we can bring in other paths. We can make them 3D and we can have some really cool effects. My name's Andrew Devis, and thank you for watching.